Hello, hello, hello. TM24 here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Now, today there have been some big changes, mainly to my girl Wave. So, what I wanted to do was kind of put together, a first look at a deck that I think is actually it's been doing pretty well. I'm getting some pretty solid results here. It operates similar to how Wave was actually used with the, like the Doom Wave or the Destroy option decks. So pretty cool style deck here. I'll run through the cards in it, kind of talk about the gameplay, what we are looking to do, and then I'll talk you through a couple games that I got going on here. But if you're just finding the channel, welcome. We're talking about the update and what it did to Wave. And if you're coming back watching videos again, hey, thank you for coming back. I appreciate you. My llama here, who's chilling in the beanie today, he appreciates you as well. But let's get right into this video, all right? So, if anyone has played the game today, you'll have seen that, there were some pretty big changes made. Wave now, still all cards are set to 4 cost, but that means all cards the whole time, right? So the discounts you would have seen with Death, with She-Hulk, things like that, no longer exist. So Doom Wave is dead. That Destroy package deck, pretty much dead. But I still think Wave has some viability, and you're going to see it here in a moment. So stick around, watch the game. Some of them are pretty crazy. This one is actually freaking wild, if I do say so myself. The Wong was not in the deck. You see my list right here, but you'll see why in a second here. So, the cards I've got. We've got Sunspot, Nebula as our 1-drops. They're probably the 2 best 1-drops in the game. I haven't tried Kitty Pryde too much yet, so, still remains to be seen how well she does. But, again, those are probably the 2 strongest 1-drops in the game. Now, what I've also got in this deck is Jeff and Lizard. And I love Jeff just because, his ability to kind of move around the board, even in locations that are locked off to him, is kind of insane. So he's great in this deck. Lizard, because we are looking to kind of get ahead and we want to stay ahead going into turn 6. So Lizard, being a 2 cost, 5 power, he's huge. Next up, we've got 3-drops. We've got Storm, Wave, of course, and Polaris. Storm, I think you guys kind of know what we want to do here. We kind of want to lock off a location. So that's what she's great for. Wave, we are not playing until turn 5. You're playing her with a couple other cards if possible. And then Polaris, I love Polaris. I love what she forces. She forces your opponent into kind of sticky situations by moving their board around and not really allowing them to play the way they would have preferred to play. So I think Polaris is great. I've got her in a ton of my decks. But she's also got great synergy in this deck because in our 4-drops, we've got Spider-Man and Stegron, right? Spider-Man, we're there because we've got Jeff, who moves. We get that discount on Spider-Man. We've also got Polaris, who will be moving their cards around. Again, we get the discount on Spider-Man. And Stegron I put in this deck kind of like a Juggernaut. I prefer to play him right after I play Storm. Ideally, we play that on an empty lane so that we have minimum 8 power going into that lane. I think it's absolutely huge. I think Stegron providing that, a little bit extra power over Juggernaut is pretty good. Yes, it doesn't move all the cards played there, but most of the time, moving just one of them is enough. A lot of the times, if you play a Storm, you'll see like a Dracula or Darkhawk come down, and just being able to clear the way for that works out perfectly. So that's why we've got the 4-drops. And then we've got a trio of 6-drops here. We've got Leader, we've got Dr. Doom, and we've got Chavez. So we'll start with Chavez. We've got her in this deck because she allows us to have a little bit more consistent draw, and I love that. We've got Dr. Doom because ideally we're waving on turn 5, allowing us to only play, allowing us and our opponent to only play 1 card on 6, and if we are ahead, Dr. Doom can help seal out the game, but so can Leader, which is why he's in this deck as well, right? You're going to copy whatever their opponent plays. If it's only 1 card, you're pretty much guaranteed that win. So these trio of 6-drops I think are huge. I think they're great. And this deck, it seems to be working pretty well. I don't think it's optimized by any means quite yet. You know, it's only day one of these changes, so I'd love to see, you know, I plan on tinkering with this deck a little bit as we go along here, as the meta kind of starts to sort itself out. Just things I've kind of seen from this deck. You can get some value out of Sunspot, but a lot of the times you're probably playing on 2, you're probably playing on 3, you're probably playing on 4, so Sunspot may not be the move. I might end up switching him for something like a, you know, maybe another 1-drop that's got some power. So, you know, that's what I've seen so far. I think Jeff has been really good. I think Storm has been very, very solid as well. If you can get ahead like we are in this game, where we've got 7 power on an empty lane that they haven't touched, it feels really, really good. So, now what we'll do is we'll kind of watch the rest of these games together. I'll kind of talk about some of my decision making, what I think, you know, why I've got the cards in here that I do, and just the general play lines here. So you can see here, it's turn 5. They played Sandman. Normally, that would not be very good for most decks. I think in this instance, it's actually pretty good for us, because we're playing Leader, we're playing Dr. Doom. We're only going to play 1 card on turns 5 and 6 anyway. So I feel like, you know, Sandman, those type of decks aren't going to hurt us. This deck will also stand up pretty well to decks that love to, I don't know if go wide is the right word, but cards that are, or decks that are looking to play multiple cards on turn 6. Ideally, we are going to crush those decks, because turn 6 comes around. Hopefully we're up on board like this, and we can kind of feel free to play only a single card. In this instance, only 1 card can come down. Dr. Doom is not going to hurt us. He could play something bigger like an Orca. We would have been in trouble there. He actually played 2 cards. I think one was, you know, we've got Magneto here, and then I think the other is Jeff. But he pulled our Storm over anyway, so he ended up giving us that win. We appreciate the help there, my guy. But let's talk about this next game here. So we're going into this game. We see Elysium, that's great. We want to start getting our power out. Like I said, we want to get ahead in these games, so we're playing our cards as often as possible. That's kind of why I think maybe Sunspot is not the best inclusion, but it still kind of remains to be seen. We don't hit any of our 2-drops or any of our 1-drops, so we're kind of behind in this game. A little bit frustrating, but not a huge deal. We see Kitty Pryde for, you know, in one of these games for one of the first time, and I can see why she would be a pretty big problem. She's lots of power, and, you know, coming down on 6, she's going to be great. But like we said, if we can get our wave down on 5, then it's not going to matter a whole lot what they've got going on here. So here, what we're looking to do is deny the Angela. We don't want her to gain any more power than she's already got. We hit Juggernaut, which is okay. They hit Howard, again, a new card. I did manage to pick up Howard as well. So, I'm going to make a video on him coming up, but not quite yet. Now, what we're doing is we're looking to, again, continue to deny Angela as much power as we can. We want to pull that Howard over, take up one of those slots so that Angela can't continue to go wild. We want to limit her as much as we can. I think they play Kitty Pryde here, so it kind of stays open for them anyway. Little bit frustrating. Angela grows. She's still got 2 empty slots, but as you can see here, we are going to be up 13 to 6 after this turn is over. And turn 5 comes around, and we do get lucky here. We hit our wave, which is absolutely perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Now, we've got the option to go something like a Dr. Doom or a Leader, but we see what they're doing, right? They're playing a bunch of cards, as many as they can, so that's what this deck is trying to do. We're trying to deny that. So we're going to pop down wave. We snapped in this game as well, because we're in a good spot. We're up 5, we're up 7, and we're hoping to be up in Elysium as well, depending on what they play there. But they played a Sentinel, so we end up tying that location, and their Angela is going to continue to get buffed. Luckily, it's only a Nova. Killmonger coming through, takes out our Nebula. Little bit tough there for us. We end up being, being up in, only one location here. So, little bit frustrating, but not the end of the world. And the reason that is because we've got Jeff, he can move. We've got Leader, so we're gonna copy whatever they're playing. You know, ideally in Snap, when you're down 2 locations to, or when you're up 2 locations to 1, you're trying to take that other location. We move our Jeff on over. We play a Leader, guaranteeing us Elysium, and they played Kitty Pryde, and they ended up taking, you know, the middle lane, but we get the other ones. So those are kind of the games. I hope you enjoyed them. Be on the lookout for more decks. I'm going to try and optimize this one as much as I can. And if you've hung around till now, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But until next time, have some fun.